Alrighty guys, in this one we're going to be having Mohamed El-Erian giving his predictions on the Fed meeting at Jackson Hole this Friday. Based on the title that says, "Don't expect Fed Chair Powell to adjust the inflation target." Doesn't seem like he's projecting much change. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button and let's jump on into it.
Allianz Chief Economic Advisor Mohamed El-Erian. Mohamed, what a treat to have you back. Good morning.
Good morning, Carl.
All right, so you laid out some possibilities. Talk to me about what's likely.
So what's likely is that he's probably going to talk about short-term monetary policy issues. I don't think that's the best thing to do because it is a very delicate situation right now. The good news for Chair Powell is that this is a target-rich environment. Whether he chooses to focus on the immediate, whether he chooses to focus on the longer term, or whether he decides to punt, as others have done in the past, and look at a very narrow economic issue with no policy implication. He has a lot to talk about, Carl, and that just shows you how fluid the current situation is.
Right. Speaking of target-rich, you probably don't envision any attempt to make adjustments to the inflation target, or do you? I'm just thinking in light of...
That reminds me, make sure you guys tune in to my channel on Friday. I will be having the entire video of the whole Fed meeting.
Next piece in the Journal over the weekend about our star.
Well, there's more and more people saying, look, if we were to decide on an inflation target today, it would not be 2%. It would be slightly above that. And I think there's a very strong argument for that. Having said that, it is very hard for a central bank to change its inflation target when it has been missing it so consistently. So yes, there's a theoretical argument for a higher inflation target, but don't look for Chair Powell to touch that issue in any significant way.
Interesting. Mohamed, I wanted to turn your attention to China. I know you were tweeting overnight that the news and just the overall sentiment in the region is a reminder that old-fashioned, I'm quoting you here, old-fashioned stimulus measures are not as obvious or as easy of a go-to for the government as they used to be. At this point in time, do you see any additional stimulus from the region as they try to at least improve GDP in the region to kind of what the market expectations are?
Look, Leslie, they have two issues. They have a growth problem and they have a debt problem. And because they have that second issue, don't look to them to do major stimulus. You know, the market was hoping for more, but they didn't deliver more. It's not because they're not worried about economic growth. They're very worried about economic growth. They're very worried about youth unemployment over 20%. The reality is that they cannot use the old-fashioned stimulus measures. What they need is a fundamental revamp of their growth model, and that's not coming anytime soon.
Are there any takeaways?
Yeah, China's economy is going in through something insane right now. But the overall thoughts on the Fed meeting at Jackson Hole on Friday, it's going to be about the guidance. How long are we going to stay this elevated? Are we done raising rates? How high are we going to go if we're not done? And if we are done, how long are we going to stay paused? And if we're not going to stay paused, how fast are we going to go down? So there's going to be a question for regardless about what he has to say. The markets are going to instantly price it in because it's so forward-looking. If it's anything more hawkish than forecasted, it's not going to be nice for the markets. Now that we've got this one green day up, it can be deleted very, very quick if we get some hawkish Fed Powell on Friday.
Ways you think for other nations who have employed kind of infrastructure spending in the way that they have? Obviously, here in the U.S., we have been embarking on a lot of spending, a lot of fiscal spending, you know, in certain pockets of the economy. Do you think there are lessons to be learned here or just a different situation altogether?
No, there are lessons. This is an important time to redirect economic growth. Look what's happening around us. We have a green transition that we have to take seriously. We have fragmenting globalization, supply chains are changing, and certain countries like ours have tight labor markets. And when you look at that, you need a major emphasis on the supply side. And Carl was asking earlier about US exceptionalism. US exceptionalism is not just in economic performance, which is significantly better than most other countries, but also in the approach taken to future economic growth potential. There's been a major emphasis on revamping the energy equation to make it greener, to make investment in growth areas. And I think other countries are looking at that and they're jealous of us because they don't have the ability to do what we've been able to do.
I think all the other countries are jealous of America too. So Mohamed El-Erian's thoughts on the Fed. He does not expect Fed Chair Powell to adjust inflation targets. He thinks he's going to leave him alone. He thinks it's too fragile of a topic. He thinks he's going to push it to the next meeting. We're a couple of days away. We're about to find out. Tomorrow we've got a quiet day in the market. Wednesday we've got Nvidia earnings. Thursday, a little bit of Jackson Hole, and then Friday we've got the Jackson Hole meeting, guys. Just a reminder again, on this channel, I'm going to have the whole entire Jackson Hole meeting. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as always. If you did, hit the like button, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.